Thank you so much for joining us here on the main news. I'm Justin Matlatla. We are joined by Nobo Maungwa at the Sign Language Desk.
And I'm Tariro Manamike with Marilyn Gwenya at our Montreux studios. Let's take a look at our leading headlines.
President Emmerson Mnangagwa says the country is ready to receive guests coming for the SADC summit.
He said this when he commissioned the Holy Cross Dam in Chirumanzu.
Victoria Falls Stock Exchange consolidates growth, registering Invictus Energy as its 16th listing this Friday.
And in business, Zimbabwe, Botswana and Mozambique make further concessions on the port and railway project.
Later on in sport, FC Platinum clashed with Cape United in the Kasalaga Premier Soccer League on Sunday.
And now for the news in detail. President Emmerson Mnangagwa says the country is ready to welcome guests for the SADC summit and has warned those bent on spoiling the show of stern action. He said this when he commissioned the Holy Cross Dam and associated agro-innovation and rural industrialization projects in Chirumanzu, Midlands Province this Friday. Our chief correspondent Ruben Barwe gives us more details.
The Chirumanzi South constituency, Holy Cross area, a small dam that was swept away by Cyclone Elene in 2007. A new dam was rebuilt through the support of the President, Comrade Emmerson Mnangagwa, the local Member of Parliament and the Catholic Church. The President, Comrade Emmerson Mnangagwa, toured part of the 85 hectares of wheat planted following the reconstruction of the Holy Cross Dam. He then proceeded to launch the fisheries project, the new hospitality chalets, soon after commissioning the three projects and seeing a certification of local people who participated in the construction of the three projects. He spoke to journalists.
We've only come here to congratulate them for the vision they have for the area. This is development. Nyika inova kwa neve neva ndoma vakira trikuita nyika yedu. The line of Chirumanzu Vatakawira comes from here. And I believe that wherever he is, and if he's seeing this, he's happy. That Vanava Kasia, Tatri Mayuthavo, Chirumanzu, the line of Chirumanzu, Tatri Mayuthavo, 1964, Tatri Mayuthavo. I believe that if he sees this and you will say, okay, I left behind a generation that continues to build the country.
Addressing thousands of people who gathered very close to the mission to celebrate the construction of the dam, President Mnangagwa underscored the importance of the church-state relations.
Zvinofadza kune zvatinoita izvi kuti nemwi vekereke munenge muchifamba nesu ava vanhu vese vari panava musi wesavadha nemusi wesvondo vanenge vari kukereke muchinamata navo. Saka iyi mazuva maviri kubva muvhuro kusvika chishanu techisvasvangana isu navo, saka tiri vamwe chete.
He also said that the dam is a signature project of his respect for the late Lion of Chilimanzi, or Lion of Chirumanzu, the late Comrade Leopold Takawira, who hailed from this place.
Vakavamba, vakaparura nyaya dzokuti tisungunuke. Vamwe vacho pakati pavo ndivatakawira vanobva kuno. The Lion of Chirumanzi vanobva kuno. Kuti tivatende nebasa ravakaita. Hezvo ndiri president. Zvinondishungurudza mukati momwoyo wangu kuti chii chandingaitawo vatenda kuti ndo vakavarura nyaya dzokuti sungunuke. Nhasi tive zvatiri vana vatakawira vanobva kuno.
On the construction of the dam and the cost of building the dam, President Mnangagwa called the contractor Mr. James Goddard, who spoke in Isindebele.
Bantu beChirumanzi, ngiyacela ukuthi namhla ngakhabe ngikhaya ngibonge kakhulukazi ubaba wethu upresident Mnangagwa ngenxa ukuthi idamu le Holy Cross labhadalwa ngingakaqedi njalo idamu le Holy Cross labhadalwa cash.
Azina kunaka ne urumende damu zorakadai akwet takari vakaini naye tiri vaviri damu renyu.
The construction of the Holy Cross Dam should bring better life to the community, and the universities are doing a great job.
But what is critically important, you can see our universities working with communities and our communities working with universities. The challenges which our communities face, they dialogue with the university. The challenges facing the universities, they dialogue with the communities.
President Mnangagwa said there are people who are prone to mischief, especially during major conferences where Zimbabwe is attending or hosting. They stand warned. The head of state, who was once a member of parliament for this area, said he's quite pleased with the way Comrade Rhodzi was executing her duties as the legislator of the area. Ruben Barweza, ZBC News, Chiruma.
Are set to benefit immensely from the commissioned Holy Cross Dam and the associated agro-innovation and industrialization projects. Let's find out more from the following report.
The commissioned the Holy Cross Dam and its associated agro-innovation projects, which include an irrigation scheme, fisheries and ecotourism project, were implemented and the Midlands province. Nearly 1,000 families are set to benefit from the project, which will also see the establishment of an industrial park for the processing and value addition of various crops produced from the scheme, hence employment creation.
Mhuri yangu yawana mabasa kufurikidza neirrigation scheme yamutsiridzwa noti tine over 200 hectares sakadzvagwa wheat umwe nomwe ane chindima saka chirati pakunokohwa umwe nomwe anenge owana chikafu gore rino iri igore renzara mvura haina kunaya asi hurumende yedu yatibatsira zvikuru pakuti umwe nomwe awana chikafu.
Your Excellency, dakutendai netsigiro yamunopa neukama huripo pakati pestate nechechi. Tavaka zvinhu zvakati wandei pamwe chete. Saka toda kuzvitenda zvikuru. Maminista enyu aya anouya achishanda nesu zvakanaka ende tinoshandidzana zvakanaka.
We are committed to build your country, brick by brick, stone upon stone, through life-changing programs with strategic partnerships akafanana neamati pai. Ndimi mnogara mchitiudza kuti whole of government approach shandai pamwe chete nyika isumuke.
Through the heritage-based education 5.0 model, tertiary institutions will continue ensuring community transformation. Hence, under the partnership, the community and schools around will be primary producers of raw materials, while tertiary institutions will work on value-adding the produce, thereby enhancing raw industrialization.
Education 5.0, education yokudzidza kuita kugona. Ndiyo yamakati tiite. Ndiyo yaita kuti mauniversity auye mumusha, nokuti mumusha ndimo munofana kuvandudzwa, nokuti mumusha ndimo muna vabereki vedu, nokuti musha ndiwo tinoda kuti ndiyo Zimbabwe, nokuti musha ndicho chidhina chenyika.
The Midlands province continue to benefit from various projects implemented by the Second Republic, especially in the agriculture sector.
Today's event, therefore, resonates with your desire to leapfrog the economy by harnessing local resources and integrating rural industrialization with heritage-based education 5.0, demonstrated through collaboration between our universities and local communities. Education and poverty do not coexist.
The community transformational model is proving to be a game changer in the country's economic growth and is set to be replicated in a number of communities, thereby contributing to modernization and industrialization. Ms. Martina, ZBC News, Chirumanzu.
The United Nations has expressed satisfaction with the efforts of the Zimbabwean government in mitigating the effects of the El Nino-induced drought.
United Nations Assistant Secretary General, Climate Crisis Coordinator for the El Nino response, Ms. Rina Gelani, accompanied by the United Nations resident and humanitarian coordinator in Zimbabwe, His Excellency Edward Cullen, met with Vice President General Retired Dr. Constantino Chiwenga in Harare this Friday, where discussions centered on government's response to the food deficit brought about by the El Nino-induced drought.
We were discussing with the Honourable Vice President the government's plans to support the people of Zimbabwe through this drought and also build a future for them so that the country is actually supporting others and dealing with what we expect are future droughts.
In solidarity with government response, the United Nations is mobilizing $430 million United States dollars under the Flush Appeal initiative formulated by the world body, government and development partners.
The Flush Appeal complements the efforts of the government of Zimbabwe, and it is focusing on short-term humanitarian needs, but at the same time supporting government to lay the foundation for longer-term resilience building. In that appeal, we have asked the international community to contribute $430 million to support the effort of the government of Zimbabwe.
In April this year, President Emmerson Mnangagwa declared the 2023 to 2024 summer cropping season a state of disaster and appealed for support from the international community to ensure no one dies from hunger, with the food distribution program currently underway to cushion affected communities. Olina Ndori, ZBC News, Harare.
Government has sent off the first batch of over 500 beneficiaries of the Presidential Scholarship Program who are going to study various disciplines in more than 7 countries across the globe.
The Presidential Scholarships Program continues to facilitate skills transfer to Zimbabwean students enrolling at different universities across the globe. This Friday, a batch of 500 students was sent off to various countries, with government acknowledging this is a culmination of good diplomatic relations between Zimbabwe and other nations.
We witnessed the sending off of more than 500 students to various universities, as enabled by the bilateral agreements and memoranda of understanding that we have for scholarships with the nations and their institutions of higher learning. The send-off resonates with the thrust of the new dispensation that strives to develop and capacitate its human capital.
Representatives of countries where the Zimbabwean students are going to pursue their studies expressed their unwavering support to Zimbabwe's economic development drive.
For those Zimbabweans who admitted or got scholarship from KNB, you have been awarded the KNB scholarship are truly among the best and brightest in the world.
This year we have 125 plus extra 20 Zimbabweans to whom, with the support of the University of Zimbabwe and other higher education institutions, the Russian universities made personal invitations to study on nuclear specialties. Next year we envisage even more, as we have already forwarded a request to increase the quote for Zimbabwean students.
Beneficiaries could not hide their joy and lauded government for such a commendable initiative.
As ama-students, especially thina esabe si-underprivileged, umuntu uyabupasile but then kube sokusiba nzima ukuthi udlulele phambili. So lokhu ukuthi besidingela i-scholarship, it's really the best.
I'm really grateful for the Presidential Scholarship for being one of the beneficiaries to go and study abroad.
It has been my dream to become part of the scholarship. I would like to study media and communication because I'm a person who is very passionate about storytelling.
The students are leaving to study computer science, biochemistry, medicine, media and communication studies, among other disciplines, in Cuba, Serbia, Indonesia, India, Pakistan, Russia and Malaysia. Tarema Duyu, ZBC News, Harare.
Delegates who attended the SADC Industrialization Week have been impressed by the best agronomic practices exhibited at the First Family's Pre-Cape Farm in Kwekwe. Tafara Chikumira was in Kwekwe and he filed the following report.
The First Family is leading by example on the farming front after putting 300 hectares under wheat and 200 hectares under barley. Due to good agronomic practices, the First Family is anticipating an average of 8 tons per hectare on their crop, which has since reached the milk door stage.
Important secret, we didn't do any land preparation. We had soybean in this land and the maize in that land. So we came in with our seed zero till. But because we took our soils to the labs, we corrected our pH, we balanced our nutrients, then that as a result gave us this crop that you see. So it is very easy and cheap to start by analyzing your soils before you put the crop. Then you get your yields and you make money, you make profit.
The SADC Secretariat was impressed by the resilience shown by Zimbabweans in addressing their problems.
We really admire the Zimbabwean leadership and the people, because despite of the sanctions, you are doing this. The first responsibility of a leader is to feed his people. So that's what, you know. And this is just amazing what I saw here. And in DRC, we have been hearing that agriculture must be the first of all priorities, but we still need to make every effort to get there. So I have, you know, stories to bring home. And about the sanction, you know, that SADC Secretary, at every forum that we go, especially in the Western world, we call for the end of the sanction.
The team also witnessed the Ankele breed of cattle, which President Emmerson Mnangagwa got from Rwanda, with a delegate from that country highlighting the value of the breed in his homeland.
I'm happy that you kept well the cows. Actually, these are our traditional cows. We have other cows that produce milk, that produce meat, but these are special for ceremonial, for keeping, and happy that our president have given you and you are keeping them well. So I'll pass the message that they are well and they are producing.
An international investor who was also attending the SADC Industrialization Week says he has been impressed by the government's open for business policy, vowing to invest in the country.
I am now fully committed that we as Clear Mobitel, we are here, we are going to invest about $200 million into Zimbabwe, and we have come to the conclusion that Zimbabwe is our starting point. Then as a Zimbabwean company, in partnership with the government, this is what we are doing differently, is I advocated for a PPP solution a year ago, and I'm glad that the government is now looking at that, and that's the way we want to move forward.
Government says the country is focusing on investing in agriculture as a way of creating room for industrialization.
We cannot talk about industrialization if we are not focusing on primary production. And this is where we are today. And those who have been taken through the paces by the manager here, I'm sure you appreciate that it's a complete ecosystem. You have got the throughput from here going to the factories for processing, and what comes from the factories come here to be the feed that goes into the livestock. And this is what we are looking at.
The ZANU-PF leadership weighed in, saying President Mnangagwa is leading in the sanctions-busting measures adopted by the Second Republic.
We are under sanctions, we remain under sanctions, but notwithstanding, our president has charted a way that we should prosper, notwithstanding sanctions. We should not be crybabies. We should look at our own resources to develop our own country.
Meanwhile, the team toured Den Dairy plant where it witnessed milk value addition at play. The plant now produces an average of 3.5 million liters of milk a month. Tafara Chikomira, ZBC News, Kwekwe.
In similar news, the regional investor delegation also toured one of the country's leading food processors, National Foods, in Harare this Friday.
The SADC delegation toured one of Zimbabwe's largest food processor, National Foods, plant in Harare this Friday, which boasts of a modern industrial processes, having invested immensely in new technology to augment capacity. National Foods Chief Executive Officer Mr. Michael Lashbrook outlined to the delegation the company's industrial operations.
We are 104 years old. I think we're well known amongst the people of Zimbabwe, producers of basic food commodities, mainly maize meal, flour, stock feeds. We also downpack rice and salt. As National Foods, we have about 1,600 employees, and those are obviously at our 3 main sites in Harare and 2 in Bulawayo. So we're big employers across the country of people.
The food processor has also added its capacity by installing a new pasta and biscuit plant.
But in recent years, we've gone up the value chain. So, for example, our maize has gone to breakfast cereals, has gone into snacks, and our flour, which is on the site at Sterling Road, has gone into pasta and biscuits as well.
The SADC delegation also toured various other local industrial giants, including edible oil manufacturer Olivin, which is partly owned by the government of Zimbabwe. Other firms also toured in Harare include Davipel, Kaya, Kefalos, Evans, Dairy Board, and Delta Beverages. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Harare.
The late ZIPRA Deputy Chief of Training, Comrade Jack Mpofu, has been declared a national hero.
The late Comrade Jack Mpofu, a former ZIPRA Deputy Chief of Training during the liberation struggle, passed on last Saturday from a suspected asthma attack at the age of 82. The message on the national hero status conferment was relayed to the family by ZANU-PF Secretary General Dr. Obet Mpofu through a confirmation letter read out by the ruling party's Bulawayo Provincial Chairperson, Comrade Javulani Sibanda.
His Excellency the President and First Secretary of ZANU-PF, Comrade Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, has conferred a national hero status to the late Comrade General Retired Makhethi Ndebele, who died on 28 July 2024. Mourners are gathered at house number 14929 Country Park, Bulawayo. The late Comrade General Retired Makhethi Ndebele will be interred at the National Heroes Acre, Harare, at a date to be announced. I shall be most grateful if you would make the usual arrangements for his burial and payment of benefits to his family. He is from Bulawayo Province.
Dr. Obet Mpofu reiterated that the late Jack Mpofu was indeed a stalwart of the liberation struggle, whose contribution to the liberation struggle is not questionable.
Upresident ehamba uyekhuluma ngomuntu elakhula lonke. Umuntu ofe eziqenya ngelizwe lakhe. Ilizwe alilwelayo. Ungahambe echaya isifuba ngokuthi ilizwe lakhulwa njani. Yibo abanikazi benkululeko lapha.
Mourners are gathered at house number 14929 Country Park in Bulawayo. He is survived by his wife Hireli Dube and 3 children. Burial arrangements are yet to be announced. Grace Sibanda, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
The Victoria Falls Stock Exchange continues to attract more listings as it consolidates its growth. It is anticipated activities on the stock exchange will contribute to the attainment of an upper middle income society by 2030. Our Matabeleland North Bureau Chief Mushomuli Ngube filed this report.
Listing this Friday in Victor's Energy. As the bell rang and champagne was popped, the biggest reminder was on the importance of more listings on the bourse to drive the economy towards an upper middle income society by 2030.
The most important part about the Victoria Falls Stock Exchange is to be able to attract investment into the country and use that investment to grow businesses. employing more people and grow the economy. That is the big part. So when we see more companies like Invictus listing on our exchange, raising money on our exchange, and using that money to grow their businesses, to employ more people, that means with the Vision 2030.
Even companies listing on the foreign currency denominated stock exchange understand the importance of growing their businesses for shared prosperity.
Shared prosperity is part of our values and our approach as a company, and this listing on the VFX I think furthers that, because we've now got more broad local participation of Invictus, not only for the community and the areas that we work in directly with the project, but now for all citizens who are able to participate in the growth of Invictus in a resource that's very strategic to the country and one that is going to power the economic growth.
Beyond the Bell announcements of the new listing are growth prospects for the Victoria Falls Stock Exchange and the national economy under Vision 2030.
The Victoria Falls Stock Exchange is at the core of capital markets development and deepening to support Vision 2030, that of achieving an upper middle income status by year 2030. It provides a platform for capital raising, especially hard currency capital. This is what we're witnessing today, where Invictus has raised hard currency capital, $10 million through a secondary listing. You know, the primary listing is in Australia, secondary listing here on VFAX, and raising this additional capital from domestic investors. So it's wonderful to see domestic participation as well.
Listing here Invictus, VFAX stock exchange lapha eFolos. Lokhu kuyinto eqhakatheke kakhulu ekuthuthukiseni ilizwe. Ngoba sonke njengoba sisazi ukuthi amandla kagetsi ayinto eqhakathekileyo njalo ayiyo enza ukuthi zonke izinto zenzakale, umkhonomi ukhule, ama-industry kuzasebenze.
The countdown to 2030 might still seem a bit far, but the Victoria Falls Stock Exchange is playing its own part also to advance gains towards that national vision. Mhlomuli Ncube, SADC News, Victoria Falls.
The expansion of the Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport has been hailed by travellers and the business community as a springboard for the country's attainment of an upper middle income society by 2030.
As part of the drive to improve aviation infrastructure to meet international standards as outlined in National Development Strategy 1 and Vision 2030, government embarked on rehabilitation of the country's ports of entry, and one of them is the Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport. The facility, whose carrying capacity increased from 2,500 to 6,000, now has spacious amenities which have been embraced by local and international travelers for modernizing the country.
I'm very surprised how organized the airport was, and it was very well managed, and I think overall I had good experience in it.
We just arrived from Sofia, changing a flight in Doha. But yeah, we were positively surprised by the airport. It was quite well organized, and it's nice first impression of Zimbabwe.
I'm truly impressed. I'm proud to be a Zimbabwean, and I'm proud of what's happening here.
I'm very happy with the expansion. I think it has just caused ease of movement.
The expansion has witnessed volumes of travelers, cargo, and tourism peaking.
We deal with the import and export of goods in and out of Zimbabwe. So the expansion of the RGMI International Airport is a boon for our industry. We've actually seen, from our statistics, 11% increase in volume of imports coming into Zimbabwe, and also exports. Our exports has also been increasing.
This has also improved or ameliorated our infrastructural development, and it has also leveraged technology. Definitely we are going to achieve it because already things have started. Look at in the tourism area sector, we are seeing roads are being refurbished.
This has certainly improved. We're getting more and more airlines coming through. We're getting both regional and international. And we can see the thrust by government in opening up the space for aviation, opening up the space for tourists to come from all over the world. Certainly it's very positive, and the infrastructure that they have built for us
The expansion of the Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport is one of the mega infrastructure projects undertaken by the Second Republic, along with the new Parliament of Zimbabwe and various roles, among others. Since its inception, the Second Republic has prioritized infrastructure development as a key enabler to the attainment of Vision 2030, as it translates to increased business, employment creation, and a general improvement to the people's standards of living. Wellington Makonese, ZBC News, Harare.
The First Lady, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa, who is also the country's environment patron, led a cleanup exercise in Harare this Friday to promote environmental stewardship in the country.
Garbage which had become unsightly in some of the streets of Harare was cleared out this Friday thanks to environment patron First Lady Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa, who led multitudes of people in a massive cleanup exercise. Harare was divided into 10 segments which were being led by different ministries, departments and agencies, with the First Lady leading the whole exercise. The Mother of the Nation was joined by Zimbabweans from all walks of life, including government officials, anti-litter agencies, transporters associations, ordinary citizens and local authorities. Streets cleaned include Jason Moyo, Cameroon, Copacabana Bus Terminus and Julius Nyerere Way. Vendors and shop assistants who ply their trade along those streets were left in awe, seeing the Mother of the Nation leading from the front, cleaning streets and pavements, which prompted them to join her. Ame Mnangagwa rallied the shop operators and vendors to always keep their premises and surroundings clean. The collective effort witnessed men, women and youths clearing the environs, a development aimed at curbing diseases. After Mai's effort, the streets and pavements were left sparkling clean. Dr. Mnangagwa urged everyone to dedicate 1 hour every day of cleaning their surroundings. She said it's her desire to see every citizen religiously observing cleanup for the safety of the general public and cleanliness of the environment. Environmental Management Agency Director Mr. Sedi Kangata said the cleanup exercise is part of the preparations of the 44th SADC Summit of heads of state and government.
The First Lady of the Republic of Zimbabwe, very instrumental in terms of the cleanup program that was launched by His Excellency. We want to do better as we prepare for the 44th SADC Summit for heads of state and government. We need to prepare for visitors. It's within our culture as Zimbabweans. Each time you are expecting a visitor, you also plan accordingly. But we want this to go beyond the SADC Summit.
During the cleanup, alert police officers confiscated illegally procured and unregulated skin lightening products that were being sold by unlicensed dealers on the streets. Participants include youths, vendors, shop assistants and the general public gave plaudits to Ame Mnangagwa for spearheading such a noble initiative, highlighting that they will continue with the practice post-SADC Summit period.
My youths, they should spearhead the idea to clean our environment, since just the most active generation tisu tinonyanya disposal yemarara nenyaya yenegligence.
Tokurudzira vanoraswawo marara kunyanya kumavhenda uko ndokunonyanya kuraswa marara. Tokurudzirawo mavhenda kuti ngavawasewo pakachengetedzeka marara mumabhini kuti patinotengesera nepatinofamba pave neutsanana.
Chinhu chataratidzwa namai dai inotaramba takabata togoziva kuti hatifaniri kungorasawo marara pese pese.
Isitaka kupfuurira mberi kutanga nhasi maranks umo tinoziva toshanda nemadrivers nemaconductors ndo makawandira mavhenda. Tichapfuurira mberi nechirongwa ichochi tichikopa zvakanaka zvaitwa naamai muzuva ranhasi.
President Mnangagwa launched the National Cleanup Program in 2018 to encourage citizens to clean their environment on the first Friday of every month. Colette Msanyera, ZBC News, Harare.
We have these and other stories on our website at www.zbcnews.co.zw. You can also interact with us via our social media handles on X, on Facebook, on YouTube, as well as on our WhatsApp, TikTok and Instagram accounts. We are at ZBC News Online.
And now for stories still to come in this bulletin. In business, Zimbabwe, Botswana and Mozambique make further concessions on the port and railway project. In sport, FC Platinum clash with Caps United in the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League on Sunday. And with that, we take a break. Stay with us.
This is the currency we've been waiting for. A currency that's not just paper and coins, but a symbol of Zimbabwe's rich resources and stability. That's Zimbabwe Gold. This is ZIG. Let's dive into what makes ZIG not just a new currency, but a new beginning for Zimbabwe's economy. ZIG is born out of a blend of traditional and innovative financial wisdom, anchored in gold and precious metals, along with foreign currency reserves. This backing isn't just for show. It's a promise of stability and trust, ensuring that ZIG's value is as solid as the gold it's pegged to. From the bustling markets of Harare to the serene landscapes of rural Zimbabwe, ZIG is set to become the medium of exchange that's both reliable and accessible, with denominations ranging from ZIG 200 to ZIG 1 and even handy coins. It caters to every transaction, big or small. Transitioning to ZIG is a breeze. It's all about inclusivity, ensuring no one is left behind in Zimbabwe's financial renaissance. ZIG doesn't walk alone. It co-circulates with other foreign currencies under Zimbabwe's multi-currency system, enriching our financial landscape. It's a legal tender that not only simplifies transactions, but also restores confidence in our economy, promising a future where stability and growth go hand in hand. So why ZIG? Because it's more than just money. It's a symbol of Zimbabwe's resilience, a step towards an economy where stability is the norm, and every Zimbabwean can look forward to a prosperous future. Welcome to the era of Zimbabwe Gold, where our currency is our pride.
Since the last day of last season, we are ready to do it all again. Phil Foden is having the season of his life. Brilliant! Just brilliant! That is quite something!
Upgrade to DSTV Compact for $30 a month to get all the football action you want.
Zimbabwe, where the sun kisses the earth, lies a world of endless opportunity.
Here, amidst the vibrant colors and lively exchanges, the spirit of abundance lives. Allow yourself the opportunity to connect and innovate. See the future of your business at the 114th edition of the Zimbabwe Agricultural Show.
Filled with ideas, new and radical, that are cultivating prosperity, growing business, innovating for change, and nurturing our future. From agriculture to agribusiness, and from agricultural education to agri-tourism, every sector finds a place to flourish here, where companies unveil their latest innovations and network with current and potential markets. SAS 2024, where the future of all business sectors is being written today.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. The Minister of Veterans of the Liberation Struggle Affairs, Honorable Monica Mavunga, says revisiting the protracted journey towards Zimbabwe's independence remains pivotal in shaping the country's developmental trajectory.
Here is the National Heroes Acre, where hundreds of sons and daughters of the nation lie in state after serving their nation with honor and dignity. The National Heroes Acre, in its grandeur, continues to tell the story of the first and second Chimurenga and the road to Uhuru.
A living heroine of the liberation struggle and Minister of Veterans of the Liberation Struggle Affairs, Honorable Monica Mavunga, speaks reflects on the days of the struggle and how they left their homes as youths to train and free the nation from colonial domination.
Chakambopa kuti tiinde kusango ikoko inyaya yekuti izvo udzvanyiriri hwanga hwakanyanya muno munyika medu. Tinoziva kuti tanga tine zvichemo zvakanyanya sevanhu vatema. Icho chekutorerwa ivhu redu, nguva yatorwa ivhu redu vapambe pfuva vachitora ivhu. Nyaya yekupatsanurwa chaipo chaipo panyaya yemarudzi, kutoti ava vanhu vatema vanofanirwa kuwana zvakasaririra. Tichigara kumamishoko tichitaura muenzaniso muno mutauni muno First Street chaianga isingapindwe nemunhu mutema. Zvichireva kuti kudzvanyirwa ikoko. Nyaya dzezvikoro tinozviziva kuti izvo kwanga kune mabottlenecks ako kuti izvo vana vaigona kudzidza zvavoko zvekutamburira kuzosvika kuti uende mberi kusekondari aiwa munenge makunzi maakuziva stereki munozoziva marights enyu. Tobva taona kuti ipapo zvakabva zvatibata isu vezera rechidiki nevamwe vanga vati kurei kuti zvinoda kubviswa izvi. Tiri kumashure kwezanu nezapu nemabandiko ezanula nezipra.
She says the annual Heroes Day commemorations remind her of the honor government has placed on those who fought for independence.
Nyika yedu yakauya nekutamburira saizvozvi, vamwe vakasara, vamwe vakarwadzwa vane mavanga, vakaremara. Zvinoda kuti tirambe takashinga, tigoshanda nehurumende kuchiona kuti izvo taitawo kuti zvavakafira zvirambe zvichienderera mberi zvinova rusununguko. And tinozviita chete nekuti izvo zvatataura zvezvi sezvichemo kuti ndo zvakapa kuti tiendeko. Vanhu vange vaine lendi saizvozvi vakapiwa minda yavo varime zvakasimba. Vana vezvikoro vadzidze zvakasimba. Tinotenda kuti hurumende yedu yezvinezvi yaane urongwa hwe 5.0 kueducation kuti vana vanobva vadzidziswa nemabasa ekuti vasazoti vadzidza vakutanga kunotsvaga kuti ndoriwana kupi basa asi kutodzidza kuita mabasa acho. Saka ndinoda kukurudzira mweya wekuda nyika yedu nekuendesera mberi.
In line with Vision 2030, Honorable Mavunga believes her portfolio allows for war veterans, ex-detainees and war collaborators to contribute to national development and is reflective of the inclusive policy of the Second Republic.
Nyika isina muono haisi nyika. Saka toda kutogotenda kuti president pavakatoti isu titarisani nevision 2030 iyo yekuti tinge an upper middle income society by 2030 vanhu vese vakugara zvakanaka neukwanisiro vachizoburitsa nzira yekuti tisvike ipapo. NDS1 yatinayo inova nzira yedu yekuti tisvike pavision 2030. Ndiri kuti sevarwi verusununguko tiri kuonekwawo tiri imomo mukuona kuti zvinotedzwa pavision 2030 nzira yekusvika neko tichienda mabandiko ese ari 14 mapillars ese ari NDS1 atedzerwa.
This year's Heroes Day commemoration will see individuals that have served with valor and humanitarianism being celebrated as the country honors its heroes and heroines, those buried here, those buried across the country, and those that lie in unknown areas represented by the tomb of the unknown soldier. Olina Ndori, ZBC News, Harare.
The Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education says vacation school dates for the August school holidays have been revised and will now be from the 9th to the 22nd of this month. In a statement, the Permanent Secretary for Primary and Secondary Education, Mr. Moses Mike, said the decision will allow examination classes to continue learning whilst the rest of the grades and forms close schools on the 8th of this month. Travel costs for boarders will be curtailed, while supervision and monitoring by the Inspectorate will follow a standard time frame for all schools.
The establishment of a solar-powered borehole at the Kezi High School by the family of Vice President General retired Dr. Constantino Chiwenga has set the school and the community on a development path.
The low-cost Tegesi High School in Insisa has been grappling with water challenges for years. This had students waking up early to scavenge for water, affecting their smooth learning. However, the script has changed after the family of Vice President General retired Dr. Constantino Chiwenga installed a solar-powered bore at the school.
Abantwana belo coast ngenxa yokuswelakala kwamanzi bebehamba uma ngomude kakhulu nxa ngawubalisa bebehamba ingcenye ama 5 kilometers besiyadinga lapho kungatholakala khona amanzi.
The solar-powered bore is part of the transformational projects which also encompass a computer laboratory which has transformed learning at Digitalization High School.
Isikhathi sonke nxa research homework at times yaphuza ukuyithola because abanye abantu abakwazi nxa lama computers ku easy ku research.
Sikwanisa ukuprepare for ama examinations ethu. Sikwanisa ukuresearch online. Sikhuluma labantu abakhatshana nama teachers sincedisa.
We only had one computer in the school and it was only used by a few individuals for admin purposes. But now, since we're having these many computers being donated to the school, we can now be able to distribute them for the benefit of the learners.
The local leadership is convinced that the transformational projects have set the community on a development pathway.
Kukhuluma lokhu ubaba umsekeli umbuphini likamongameli ubaba uChiwenga sise Harare ethi kulesikolo kuthiwa idekezi bakhala ngamanzi. Ngiyabonga ukuthi isithembiso sesigcwalisiwe.
Handing over the projects at Digitalization High School this Friday, Colonel Miniota Bobaloi Chiwenga reiterated their family's commitment to development in support of the Second Republic's vision of ensuring the country attains an upper middle income society status by 2030.
Indawo eziningi sesiba ngama desert. Akusela manzi. Asisakwazi vele lokupredicta ukuthi kuzahamba njani. Komunye umnyaka izulu liba linengi kube lama floods. Komunye umnyaka kome kuthi qha. But sikhona siyaphila emhlabeni wona lowo. So singenza kanjani ukuthi senze ukuthi ama effects wona lawo a reduceke abantu ba survive. So in our small way sithe ibholu izaba yi starting point ukuthi abantu bathole amanzi. Not only ukuthi bathole amanzi, kodwa bathole amanzi ahlanzekileyo.
The Digitalization project is part of transformative projects that include Ntunde and Sababa primary schools and Mkaeni nutritional garden done by the Chiwenga family to improve the standards of living for the rural Insisa community. Providence Maranelli, ZBC News in Insisa.
Schools in Bulawayo converged for a robotics showdown which saw children showcasing their technological skills. We get more details from the following report.
The robotics flame in Zimbabwe is spreading like wildfire, with school children now part of the digital future. It is with the spirit that students into science, technology, engineering, and mathematics STEM subjects look forward to conquering the world through technological innovations.
We see ourselves as the pioneers for Zimbabwe. We are going to help it develop all types of inventions in the future, since we are the leaders of tomorrow.
I'm doing robotics so that I could shape the future of the world and of Zimbabwe.
It has also helped me in my understanding in mathematics. When I was very young, we have the energy to do more things.
Organizer of the competition and founder of Sciencey, Mr. Kosa Masugu, underscored the importance of training children in robotics, citing how it will go a long way.
Here comes up. Here comes up.
Try the new Dunked All-Star Box. Hope you're ready for the new star of the show. KFC, it's finger licking good while stocks last.
Zimbabwe will proudly host the 44th Ordinary SADC Summit of Heads of State and Government on August 17, 2024 in Harare. Preceding this landmark event are crucial meetings of SADC senior officials and the Council of Ministers set.
Technology. Grace Sibanda, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
The Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Information, Media and Broadcasting Services, which was in Mashingo this Wednesday, toured the Mashava Transmission Tower as part of its ongoing monitoring of the digitalization program.
The digitalization program is one of government's key priorities as it aims to improve the quality and reach of the country's broadcasting signal. Mashava Transmission Tower is one of the 18 transmitters installed across the country as the digitalization program continues.
We have completed 18 sites out of the 48 which we want to digitalize. At the moment, we are making sure that the 18 sites are put into use. So what we are doing now, we are distributing set-top boxes, which are just decoders which enable members of the public to view the digital signals.
Speaking after touring the transmission tower, the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Information, Media and Broadcasting Services, Honorable Caston Mateu, said they will work with stakeholders to ensure completion of the digitalization program.
Zvakavakwa pano nebhazi netransmedia zvakanaka chaizvo, istructure yakavakwa nemaZimbabweans yakanaka. Asi pari kuda mari kuti titenge material yasara. Mabox acho, matransformer, matransmitter acho ndo akudiwa kuti atengwe. Saka isusu tichashanda nehurumende kuti inge ichitenga matransmitter kuti vanhu vemumashava nekumasvingo nemasvingo province munomu vange vachibenefitawo.
The Digital Migration Initiative was launched in 2015 with the goal of transitioning Zimbabwe from an analog to a digital terrestrial television platform. Ms. Martina, ZBC News, Masvingo.
ZBC Classic 263 producer-presenter Andrew Kiposa, who passed on this Tuesday, has been laid to rest at Balaka Farm in Marondera this Friday.
It was a befitting send-off for veteran broadcaster Andrew Kiposa as relatives, friends and colleagues paid their last respects to the entertainer popularly known as AK or Black Kips. His children described their father as a loving man who had time for them despite his busy schedule.
Our father was a loving father. Aifara nesu, anga ninguva nesu. He was a remarkable person. Munhu aifara, aienza mufaro mumba. Aititira zvose zvataida. Would make sure that we have everything that we wanted. Vakatidzidzisawo, vakatiendesawo kuzvikoro zvakanaka, vakatidzidzisawo kushanda, vakatidzidzisawo kurima. Vaimirawo nesu, even nevazukuru vavo, vaive nenguva nevazukuru vavo.
Baba atipa chironda, atipa nguva yakaomarara chaizvo, nekuti ndiye munhu akanga ari torchbearer, torerwa mwenje. Baba vaitisanganisa nenyika, vanga ari munhu ane rudo rwavo rwaibatanidza munhu wese zvake.
Friends and colleagues spoke glowingly about him.
Tinopa kutenda nemakore atakashanda nawo zvakanaka. Munhu akanga ari dedicated to duty, munhu akanga asina guhwa, munhu aifarira basa rake, munhu akanga ari very committed kune zvaanoita.
He was a very good brother to everyone. Saka tinongorasikirwa necolleague chete, asi a brother, ndibaba kune vamwe, vari hanzvadzi kune vamwe, saka vanga vari kutibatsira zvakawanda. So we just say basa ravakabata, we just continue, mweya wavo uzorore murugare.
Nguva zhinji vaigara vachingotaura vachiseka, munhu aingosekerera zvekuti hakuna munhu akambovaona vakafundumwara. Kusekerera ndo yaiva signature yavo. Vaidadisa kwese kwataienda. Ticharamba tichivarangarira tichingoti kune vese varisara tiite mwoyo wakanaka sewamukoma Andrew.
Andrew was also a musician and fellow band member Isaac Chirwa had a special way to bid farewell to his colleague. Gerald Sasa, ZBC News, Marondera.
When I beat off more than I could chew, and so it all when they was down, and stead it out and spit it out.
And there goes Black Hips indeed, who all miss him. In news from beyond our borders, the ongoing year-long conflict in Sudan has hampered movement of humanitarian aid, resulting in famine in several parts of the country.
The conflict, which has lasted for more than 15 months, has hindered the transportation of humanitarian aid and resulting in famine in some parts of North Darfur, Zamzam IDP camp south of El Fasher. Sudan's World Food Programme, WFP Country Director Eddie Rowe, has called on the warring parties to consider an immediate cessation of hostilities to allow for humanitarian aid to reach the affected areas. According to the Integrated Food Security Phase Classification, IPC, about 320,000 people have been displaced in Al Fasher, with over 150,000 relocated to Zamzam camp in search of safety, basic necessities, and food since mid-May.
More than 250 people have been confirmed dead after massive landslides in the Indian state of Kerala this Tuesday, with over 200 people still missing. Indian government officials say excavation equipment is assisting rescuers who are clearing rubble and searching for victims, with sniffer dogs also being roped in. Meanwhile, the state government has set up relief camps to accommodate over 3,000 people left homeless after the natural tragedy.
A New York State appeal court has rejected a Republican presidential nominee and former U.S. President Donald Trump's challenge to a gag order in his hush money criminal case, where he was convicted on 34 felony counts of falsifying business records in May. The gag order was put in place before Trump's criminal trial in New York and will remain in place until his sentencing in September. Trump has repeatedly challenged the order, which prevents him from publicly commenting on prosecutors and court staff involved in the case and their families. Meanwhile, Americans will go to the polls in November, with Trump and Democratic candidate Kamala Harris expected to face off.
And now we take a break, but when we come back, we'll give you the business news. Stay tuned.
Try the new Dunked All-Star Box. Hope you're ready for the new star of the show. KFC, it's finger licking good while stocks last.
Enjoy real value and real savings with the TM Pick and Pay Weekend Winners. Save up by getting your groceries and so much more in store today. TM Pick and Pay. Real value always.
Transport ministers from Zimbabwe, Botswana and Mozambique have signed a joint tripartite report on collaboration of the deep seaport and railway upgrade to operationalize the tripartite agreement signed by heads of state in Mozambique last month.
The signing of the report follows wide consultations made when permanent secretaries from transport ministries of the three countries met this Thursday to iron out final details of the agreement. Last month, heads of states from Zimbabwe, Botswana and Mozambique signed a tripartite agreement in Mozambique to develop an onshore deep-sea port and a 1,700-kilometer railway line linking the three countries. Ministers of transport from the three countries met in Harare this Friday to sign a joint report to operationalize the agreement towards executing the transformative regional project.
The three heads of state and government signed a declaration on the development of the Ponta Techo Banane project to reaffirm the commitment of our three sister countries in the development of Ponta Techo Banane project. They directed that the rail agencies of the three countries should immediately meet to submit a report through our permanent secretaries to us as the responsible ministries, so that we assess the report and subsequently and jointly update the presence of the progress of the project before the SADC summit.
Today's deliberations will focus on that. The heads of state directed that officials undertake preparatory work so that by the 31st of December this year, there should be something tangible on the table for decisions to be taken.
These proposals should detail potential partnership that our nations can form to improve our infrastructure in an economically sustainable manner, bringing tangible benefits to the economies of Mozambique, Zimbabwe, and Botswana.
Foreign Affairs and International Trade Minister Ambassador Frederick Shawa, who was represented by Honorable Sheila Chikomo, noted the regional unity displayed to harness infrastructure development in the region.
This meeting reflects the commitments of our sister republics of facilitating the realization of the objective of the African Continental Free Trade Area, the AFCTAs, which require efficient and modern transport systems.
The meeting ended with the signing of several individual agreements binding each country to specific performances under the project. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Harare.
That's business. We get straight into the arts, and Sungura maestro Alec Macheso is this evening launching a new album titled Kupa Kuturiga in the capital. We link up with our reporter Fungai Jachi. Fungai, can you tell us what is going on there at the launch?
It is a good evening to you all, and we are here at Alec Sports Club, where the Sungura maestro Alec Macheso is going to officially release his 18th album. The album is titled Kupa Kuturiga, and as you can see, well, his fans are eagerly waiting for him to come up on stage to show us what he has to offer. Well, his fans are eagerly waiting for this album. Of course, he is not going to be performing alone. He is going to be helped by supporting acts that include Songstress, Salinanti, and Dimurizo, and the Asho, and of course his sons Issa and Titenda are also going to join in entertaining their father's fans before the king himself takes to the stage. And so, because I'm also a Macheso fan, allow me and of course the crew behind the scenes to eagerly wait for the Sungura King to come and wow us. It's back to you.
Well, thank you so much. That's Fungai Jachi giving us an update on Kupa Kuturiga, the new album that will be launched tonight by Alec Macheso. As we continue, of course, with the bulletin, we now cross over to our sports desk where Anashe Murombedzi is on standby with news after the break.